We're interacting with the energy of spaces and people all the time. And we often pick up like little bits of residue from those different experiences. And if we're not really conscious of it, we're just holding on to it. Welcome to Don't Step on the Bluebells, the podcast where personal healing and transformation take center stage. I'm your host, Amanda Parker, and I'm a fellow seeker on the journey of personal growth. Join me as I delve into the stories of gifted healers, guides, and everyday people who have experienced remarkable transformations. Listen in as they share their practical wisdom to enrich your everyday life. And don't forget to hit subscribe and never miss a new episode. Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Don't Step on the Bluebells. This is a mini episode. It's going to be a part of a series of episodes that are really diving deep into the topic of inner wisdom and self-trust. This is in honor of the upcoming Inner Vision Quest program that's launching in October 21st. So if you're interested in the topic of how to really dive deep into your own intuition, to trust yourself, to really hear yourself clearly, you're not going to want to miss this series, and you're definitely going to want to sign up and join us. So go ahead to www.amandaparker.co/inner vision. That's how you can join us for that 6-week program, all about grounding and energy protection. You might have heard an earlier episode that I did all about spiritual hygiene, where I talk a bit about these different energetic principles, but I really want to go deep today on what it means to ground, why that matters, and what it means to actually protect your energy. So these are words that didn't used to mean anything to me, but as a person who is a certifiable overthinker and who puts a lot of time and energy into mental constructs and stories that I hear in my mind are really thinking, planning, strategizing, achieving. I'm a person who spends a lot of time in my head, and I know that a lot of you are the same way. So what that means is that we're often spending so much time up here in our minds, and we're not really even feeling the earth beneath our feet. For some of us, that might mean that you don't even feel your body. You don't even feel really connected to your body or what's happening inside. Are you tired? Are you fatigued? Are you hungry? Are you sleepy? Are you exhausted? Are you craving sugar because you're tired, because you're hungry, because you've had a long day, because the weather's changing? If you're a woman, maybe you're at a different point in your cycle, which is what's telling you what your body needs in those moments. So a lot of us are not really fully in tune with what's happening within us. And if you're like me, that might be because you're spending a lot of time in your head, but there can be many different reasons for that. You could just simply be working in a job that's incredibly stressful and you're spending a lot of time thinking about work or acting in work, and you don't have as much time to really think about the rest. You might be caught up in world politics. Who isn't these days? And that could be something that just causes stress, or, you might have your own little addictions or afflictions with social media or the news or other technological components. So what exactly is grounding? Grounding is really connecting deeply, not only to yourself, but also to the earth beneath you. And it's a practice of bringing yourself really down and into the present moment, feeling centered within your own body and allowing yourself to really be with whatever is actually there in the moment. So not letting yourself float away or get carried away by all of these different distractions that we all face in our lives. Why does grounding actually matter? If we don't take the time to really connect and center, we're often just running. We're going from decision to decision, or we might be running from one meeting to the next or one activity to the next without ever really giving ourselves the chance to see how that feels. When we ground, when we come into center, we actually have the opportunity to make a judgment call. Does this feel good? What does my body need right now? Do I need to slow down the pace? Is it okay for me to keep up this pace for a couple more days? You know, we look at things like if you need rest, if your body needs something different energetically. If you live in a city like I do, you might feel all that energy from the people all around you, and you don't even realize that you're bringing that home with you. So it gives you the chance to really connect within and find out what's going on. So the way that you can ground, there's a number of different techniques. I'm just going to share a couple of my favorite because that's what works for me on a day-to-day basis and might also work for you. So the first thing, the easiest thing to do, if you have any nature around you, is to literally go and walk outside. If you can take your shoes off and put your feet on the bare earth, even better. I have a garden here where I live, so it's quite simple in the morning. If I just walk outside, I put my feet on the earth and just really allow myself for a moment to feel that connection to the earth. If that's not accessible to you, that's also fine. You could close your eyes and imagine yourself walking onto the earth. You could imagine that feeling of your bare feet on the ground, connecting to that dirt or sand or grass, just really allowing that sense of the earth beneath you, feeling it holding you. So this is a really simple and very practical way to ground. I also love to go into a place in nature or into the back garden and put my hands on trees. There's a reason that we have tree huggers in this world. I know it's often a joke, but the reality is that just going and touching a piece of nature that has been around for so long, that holds so much wisdom, is incredibly powerful. So you might actually just go, put your hands on a tree, and really allow yourself to feel that for a moment. So it's not about just going, touching a tree, and continuing walking on with your day. No, you want to actually set the intention. I'm grounding myself now. I'm just taking this moment to come back to center and just see what happens. You're going to feel if something changes in your energy or it doesn't. Another way that I ground, which I really love, is to visualize. So I'll close my eyes and I will imagine that there are roots growing out the soles of my feet. And I will watch, depending where I'm sitting or what I'm doing, I will just watch those roots wind their way all the way down through the floor beneath me, down through the house where I am, all the way through until it reaches the earth. So those layers of soil and rock. And then I will see those roots continuing to move their way all the way down through those layers of the earth until at last they wrap their way around the core of the earth and feel that anchoring in place. So that is a hugely powerful practice. In fact, I do that with every single podcast guest who comes onto this show. I invite them into a meditation, and we always do a really strong grounding meditation, which always involves roots growing down. If you find that you're perhaps in a busier place, or you're going from meeting to meeting, or there's something particularly stressful happening and you don't have the time to go out into nature or to sit and to visualize, you can very simply just put your feet on the ground wherever you are and just feel the support of the earth beneath you and feel the support of that chair beneath you. And it could be as simple as a mantra of, I am being held, or the earth is holding me now. And that just gives you that moment, that pause that you need to really come to center and feel that you are truly grounded in the present moment. So these are a few of my favorite techniques. I have so many more, honestly, and we're going to go into many more practices that can support you and find what it is that's really, your best fit for your own lifestyle, for what your life looks like day to day, for the activities that you have. We're doing that a bit deeper inside of the Inner Vision Quest. So if you want to find your own personalized way to do that, then of course you're welcome to join us and find that. Now I want to talk to you about the energy protection. So this is much like that grounding where it's a really core practice. It's something that supports you to show up in the world and feel like you are safe enough to be fully yourself, no matter what that means, no matter where you are. So the energy protection is, for some of you, you'll be already very familiar with this topic, but for others, this might be like a new concept. But, we go out into the world, we go into crowded workplaces, we go into busy subway cars or into the center of the city or even into the supermarket. We are continuously interacting with energy and people all around us. And 99% of the time, we're not really conscious of all those little exchanges that are taking place. But I'm sure that you can imagine a time when you've walked in somewhere, I don't know, to a store, or you've gone on a vacation and you enter the hotel and you're like, oh boy, something doesn't feel good here. And you might not quite be able to tell what that is, but you can sense that something's a bit off, or that you don't really feel that good there, or maybe you don't actually feel that safe there. The point is that we're interacting with the energy of spaces and people all the time. And we often pick up like little bits of residue from those different experiences. And if we're not really conscious of it, we're just holding on to it. So that is not to say that you're always in danger. It's just to say that if you're a bit more sensitive, or as your sensitivity grows, if you're really starting to develop your intuition, do the inner work, maybe develop different spiritual practices, your sensitivity is going to grow. And you're going to start to notice when you're holding on to energy and things that really don't fit who you are and what you're doing in the world. And you want to learn how to preemptively protect yourself from those different energies before you even leave the house. So again, I'm sharing with you a few of the practices that I use and that I've used over the years. There are so many different ways to do this, and it's just important that you find your own best way, because that's going to be what supports you the most in your life and for what you need. So for me, one of the ways that I do that is through, again, a visualization. And I will just close my eyes and I'll imagine that there's like this white blanket that is coming out from above me and just surrounds me in a cocoon. And I really feel that support and that protection completely enveloping me in this softness, this whiteness. And I know that when I'm going into a busy place, or I'm about to go into central London, which I'm doing later today, then I know that I have my energy protected, and I really trust that it's working. So that is one of the techniques that I use. Some people will tell you, and this is also equally effective, to just imagine this golden bubble of light surrounding you, and it's just serving as that extra layer of protection around you, so that wherever you're going throughout your day, you know that you're not just picking up all of this different energy arbitrarily. Another technique that I use will be really with stones. So I'll use different stones, primarily black stones. So that might be obsidian, that might be, smoky quartz, which is one of my favorites. And there's a few other stones that I can put in the show notes for this episode. So really looking at the darker stones like Apache tears, or something that is in that black color range. And I just put those in my pocket when I know I'm going out into a busy place, because those make me feel, first of all, really grounded, like really anchored. And they also help me to feel the protection of that stone. They're known for dispelling negative energy, and I infuse them with that intention and that meaning, so that when I'm leaving the house, I've got all my black stones in my pocket. I don't have to feel worried that I'm taking on something that doesn't belong to me. So this is a starting point for this energetic work. And you can go ahead and listen to the episode on spiritual hygiene if you want to hear a bit more about some of those energy protection and clearing practices. But stay tuned because, as I said, this is part of a mini series of different ways that you can actually start to hear your inner wisdom and start to trust yourself more fully. This is really phase one. This grounding and this protection is the way that you're going to be able to really tune deeply in with yourself without listening to all that noise from all around you, and be able to hear that inner wisdom with so much more clarity. So as I shared, if this really speaks to you and you want to go deeper, you are invited to join us in the Inner Vision Quest, which is kicking off on October 21st. So go ahead to www.amandaparker.co/innervision if you want to join us. And thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Don't Step on the Bluebells. If you enjoyed this conversation, please give the podcast a 5-star rating wherever you listen. And don't forget to hit subscribe and follow along so you never miss a new episode.